Young and the Restless next week. Nick gets caught red-handed and Billy unleashes his fury. Young and the Restless spoilers for next week indicate Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, is getting busted doing something really bad, and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, loses it and lashes out after a big win that might cost him things that are near and dear to his heart. We've got the latest YandR spoilers for the week of February 16th. And we're going to talk about Nick and Billy, plus some action with Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziadei, Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, and lots more. Young and the Restless spoilers. Billy Abbott's dark road to revenge and Sally Spectra's growing fears. All right, let's kick things off with Billy Abbott, who seems to be heading down the dark road of revenge, as he has done in the past. And the person that's been keeping him in check, Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, is not going to be there to make sure Billy doesn't spiral out again. So, hot on the heels of Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, signing Chancellor over to Billy and folding Newman Media into AbbottCom, we see that Billy decided to surprise Sally with a romantic candlelight dinner and flowers for Valentine's Day. Billy wants to put aside their issues for the night and just be together. But Sally is not having it. Even when Billy reminds her that it's Valentine's Day, Sally Spectra says the romance is nice and all. But it doesn't solve anything. And Billy talks about wanting to see Sally on top of the world, and for them both to succeed. But then Billy drops the bombshell that Chancellor now belongs to him. And great news, Newman Media now belongs to Sally, or specifically to AbbottCom. Billy tries to say his hands are clean because it was Phyllis who double-crossed Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, took all the Newman assets and signed Newman Media and Chancellor over to them. And of course, Sally Spectra is shocked. She doesn't want this. She said, now Billy has Kane as an enemy in addition to Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, as his enemy. And then Sally tells Billy this is exactly what she was scared would happen, and it's manifesting. And Sally Spectra said she does not want to be collateral damage in this mess that he's created. Billy Abbott confronts Jack Abbott over besting Victor Newman on YandR. And then Billy just snaps. I don't know what he was expecting. I was expecting exactly this reaction. But he loses it on Sally Spectra, and is kind of getting confrontational, asking what she's afraid of and gripes about what's wrong with being ambitious. There's ambitious and then there's theft, you know. So Billy Abbott says he can't live like this, and he actually has the cojones to storm out on Sally, as if she's the one in the wrong. So next week looks like Billy continues his tour, showing off his bad attitude, and this time it's with his big brother. Young and the Restless spoilers for next week have Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, dealing with an irate Billy who asks Jack, is he really concerned about Billy, or is Jack just ticked off because Billy is the Abbott who finally bested Victor? I mean, I'm sorry. Exactly how did Billy do anything? Kane bested Victor, and then Phyllis bested Kane. The contribution Billy made was to go over to the Newman ranch and distract them for 5 minutes, saying Kane's going to betray them. I mean, Phyllis stole the AI, gave it to Victor, and then he betrayed her, and then Phyllis chloroformed Kane after he beat Victor because he was going to give everything back and betray her. And so Phyllis took it all so that Kane and Victor both lost. The only thing Billy has done is ride Phyllis Summers' coattails. And he doesn't even like her. Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall's emotional reunion in Los Angeles. And we also have more Matt Clark, Roger Howarth, action coming. As I've been saying here for a while, I did not think he was gone because he exited off-screen and in a very undramatic fashion. And yeah, he is now confirmed to be back. More on that in a second. So, as this week ended, we had Noah going out to Los Angeles trying to win back Sienna, who has dumped him, left him a note, and she tells Noah that she feels like a stranger in her own life and feels alone. And strangely, she says it surprised her. But Sienna admits that she misses Mitch Bacall a lot. And of course, you know, Mitch was her husband forever. She had no idea about the Matt Clark stuff, even though Mitch himself wasn't a nice guy either. But Noah is still very understanding. But he wants Sienna to come back and start a new life with him in Genoa City. She tells Noah she loves him, but that doesn't mean they have a future. And Sienna kisses him. You know, Noah is bringing up that it's Valentine's Day, talks about a fresh start and more kissing. But I don't think he's going to convince Sienna to come back with him. First of all, it seems unlikely that she would come back to Genoa City at all. And second, if she does, I don't think Sienna is going to be around long term. Third, Matt is back in March. And if Sienna is back in Genoa City by then, Matt just might kill her. So, even if Noah brings her back, I don't think it'll go well. Nick Newman busted? Sharon Newman catches Nick with fentanyl pills on Young and the Restless. And it turns out Sienna isn't the only one with Matt Clark on her mind. Nick's thinking about the villain, too. So this past week when Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, were asking him about his injuries and the surgery and all that, Nick admitted that he's still in a whole lot of pain and Victoria warned him about medication. So, we've seen Nick Newman in the past looking at that little baggie of pills that Matt Clark gave him, and we know it's fentanyl. Next week we're going to see Nick at Crimson Lights, and he's fiddling with the baggie of fentanyl pills under the table while Sharon Newman's Sharon Case's back is turned. And then she comes back to the table and sees Nick shoving the baggie into his pocket. And Sharon says she's sorry she startled him. But then she wants to know what is Nick hiding from her. I am quite certain he is going to lie to Sharon Newman, so she doesn't realize that Nick has illegal street drugs on him. Worst of all that he got from Matt Clark. And if those are in Nick's hands, that's a red flag that Nick probably ran out of pills from the doctor visit that Sharon took him to. Roger Howarth return confirmed and Mariah Copeland's legal trouble spoilers. I just hope when Matt Clark's back on the scene in March. And that is confirmed, by the way, that Roger Howarth is back. He's filming. So about 4 weeks we'll see him on air. So I hope that Nick doesn't wind up scoring more fentanyl from Matt. Also next week, Daniel is worried about what'll happen now that Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, was arrested and carted back to Genoa City. Tessa Porter says she wants to be with Daniel and is going to push forward with her divorce, but Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian, is back in Genoa City, and Daniel's telling his dad he has no idea what'll happen with him and Tessa. And Danny's asking Daniel, does he think Mariah will let Tessa back in now that it's all out in the open and over and done? But it's really not. We know Mariah Copeland's got a long road. But it sounds like Daniel's worried that Tessa Porter might reconcile with Mariah. I don't think so. At least not anytime soon. Kyle Abbott's Audra Charles kiss and Victor Newman's asset recovery plot on Young and the Restless. Genoa City explodes as secrets surface, tempers ignite, and two men who thought they were in control find themselves cornered. Nick Newman gets caught red-handed in a scandal that could cost him everything, while Billy Abbott reaches his breaking point and unleashes a fury no one sees coming. Buckle up, because this week is about betrayal, exposure, and consequences. Nick Newman's risky move backfires. The Young and the Restless. Nick Newman. Nick has always prided himself on being the good Newman. The stable one. The rational one. But next week, that reputation takes a massive hit. For weeks, Nick has been quietly digging into a situation he believes could protect his family. Whether it's connected to Newman Enterprises, Sharon's safety, or a hidden corporate threat, Nick convinces himself he's doing the right thing. The problem? He crosses a line, and he knows it. In a tense sequence of events, Nick is caught red-handed accessing confidential information that doesn't belong to him. The shocking discovery comes at the worst possible time, and by the worst possible person. Is it Victoria? Adam? Or someone completely unexpected? Whoever catches him doesn't stay quiet. Victoria smells blood in the water. Victoria Newman. Victoria has been watching her brother closely. She senses he's hiding something, and next week her suspicions are confirmed. When proof lands in her hands, Victoria faces a choice. Protect her brother or protect the company. And let's just say, she chooses power. In a chilling confrontation at Newman Enterprises, Victoria calls Nick out in front of key executives. The look on Nick's face says it all. He didn't expect his own sister to expose him so publicly. Victoria doesn't scream. She doesn't rant. She calmly dismantles him. And it's brutal. Adam seizes the opportunity. Adam Newman. You didn't think Adam would sit this one out, did you? Adam sees Nick's scandal as the ultimate opening. For once, he isn't the one in the hot seat. For once, Nick is the Newman disappointment. Adam subtly fuels the fire, making sure Victor hears every detail. He doesn't need to lie. The truth is damaging enough. But Adam does add one carefully placed comment that shifts the narrative. Nick always thinks the rules don't apply to him. And just like that, the family divide deepens. Victor's cold judgment. Victor Newman. Victor Newman does not tolerate weakness. And he certainly does not tolerate betrayal. When Nick stands before his father, trying to justify his actions, Victor's reaction is icy. Nick argues he was protecting the family. Victor sees it differently. He sees recklessness. Disloyalty. Poor judgment. In a moment that stuns everyone, Victor makes a decision that could alter Nick's future at Newman Enterprises permanently. Nick realizes too late that trying to play hero may have cost him his place in the empire. Billy Abbott explodes. Billy Abbott. While the Newman drama unfolds, another storm brews across town, and it's far more volatile. Billy Abbott has been barely holding it together. Between business pressures, personal doubts, and old rivalries resurfacing, he's walking a thin line. Next week, that line snaps. Billy learns information that sends him into a blind rage. Whether it's corporate sabotage, betrayal from someone he trusted, or manipulation from a Newman, again, the revelation hits deep. And Billy does not respond calmly. A public showdown no one can stop. In a jaw-dropping scene, Billy storms into a confrontation that quickly escalates. Voices rise. Accusations fly. And for once, Billy doesn't try to mask his anger with sarcasm or charm. He's raw, furious, unfiltered. If his target is Adam, sparks will fly instantly. If it's Victor, expect an all-out war declaration. But the real shock, Billy doesn't just threaten. He acts. A risky business move. A bold exposure. A retaliatory strike that could destabilize both Abbott and Newman power structures. And this time, Billy doesn't care who gets hurt in the process. Lily tries to pull him back. Lily Winters. Lily sees what's happening. She recognizes that familiar look in Billy's eyes, the one that signals self-destruction. She tries to reason with him, to ground him, to remind him that impulsive decisions have consequences. But Billy isn't listening. Their emotional confrontation becomes one of the week's most powerful moments. Lily demands honesty. Billy fires back that he's tired of playing nice. For a split second, it feels like their relationship might fracture under the pressure. Is Billy pushing away the one person who truly believes in him? The ripple effect across Genoa City. Nick's exposure and Billy's fury don't stay contained. The consequences ripple through every major power player in town. Victoria tightens her grip on Newman Enterprises. Adam inches closer to strategic dominance. Victor recalculates his alliances. The Abbotts brace for fallout. And quietly, in the background, someone else watches it all unfold, calculating how to benefit from the chaos. Because in Genoa City, turmoil equals opportunity. A cliffhanger that changes everything. By the end of the week, both Nick and Billy find themselves standing at crossroads. Nick must decide: fight to reclaim his reputation, or walk away before more damage is done. Billy must choose: continue down a destructive path, or finally break the cycle that's haunted him for years. But just as it seems like decisions are being made, a final twist lands. A phone call, a leaked document, or perhaps a shocking alliance no one predicted. Whatever it is, it guarantees that next week ends with jaws on the floor. What this means moving forward: this storyline isn't just about being caught or losing control. It's about identity. Nick has always believed he was different from his father. Billy has always believed he could outgrow his worst impulses. Next week tests both of those beliefs. Will Nick prove he's stronger than one mistake? Will Billy finally channel his anger into something productive? Or burn everything down? One thing is certain: Genoa City will never be the same after this. And if you thought the Newman-Abbott rivalry had cooled down, Genoa City, think again. Revenge is never just a fleeting emotion, it's a lifestyle. And on the young and the restless, no one embodies the intoxicating pull of payback quite like Billy Abbott. But this time, the stakes are higher, the wounds are deeper, and the fallout could be catastrophic. Not just for Billy, but for the woman who's starting to realize she may not recognize the man she's falling for. As Billy Abbott edges closer to the dark side, Sally Spectra finds herself caught in a storm she never intended to enter. What begins as ambition may spiral into obsession, and Sally's growing fears suggest she knows exactly where this path leads. Billy Abbott's breaking point. The young and the restless has never shied away from showing Billy's self-destructive tendencies. For years, viewers have watched him gamble away fortunes, sabotage relationships, and wage personal wars, especially against one man, Victor Newman. But this time feels different. Billy isn't just reacting emotionally. He's calculating. Quiet. Focused. That's what makes it so dangerous. After yet another crushing blow to his pride and career, Billy has decided he's done playing defense. The humiliation of being underestimated, again, has ignited something dark inside him. And those closest to him are beginning to notice the shift. He's colder now, less impulsive but more intense. When Billy starts strategizing instead of spiraling, that's when Genoa City should worry. The Victor Newman factor. Victor Newman has long been Billy's ultimate adversary. Their feud is legendary, a clash of ego, legacy, and power. And despite Billy's occasional vows to rise above it, Victor has an uncanny way of pulling him back into the fight. Sources hint that Billy believes Victor orchestrated yet another professional setback, one that cost him dearly. Whether that's entirely true or just Billy's perception hardly matters. In his mind, the lines are drawn. But Victor is a master chess player. He thrives on opponents making emotional moves. If Billy thinks he's the one setting the trap, he may be walking straight into Victor's carefully laid snare. And this time, collateral damage could be unavoidable. Sally Spectra's uneasy instinct. Sally Spectra knows ambition. She understands reinvention. She's built her entire life on resilience and second chances. But what she's seeing in Billy isn't ambition, it's obsession. At first, she admired his fire, his drive, his refusal to let Victor win. It reminded her of herself. But lately, there's a tension beneath his determination. A simmering anger that never truly fades. Sally has started asking subtle questions. Why is he working so late? Why is he making secret calls? Why does he tense up every time Victor's name is mentioned? Billy brushes off her concerns with charm and reassurance. He insists he's in control. He promises he's doing this for their future. But Sally has been down this road before, with men whose need for revenge ultimately destroyed everything in their path. And she refuses to be blindsided again. The return of old patterns. Billy's history is riddled with cautionary tales. From failed marriages to career implosions, he has a pattern of letting emotion override reason. The difference now? He's smarter about it. Instead of reckless outbursts, Billy is quietly gathering leverage. Whispers in the business world suggest he may be forming unlikely alliances. Risky ones. If he's planning to strike at Victor's empire, he'll need serious ammunition. And that means crossing lines he once swore he wouldn't. The problem is, once Billy starts down this path, he rarely knows when to stop. Sally's internal conflict. Sally is torn between loyalty and self-preservation. On one hand, she sees a man fighting to prove himself. She understands the pain of being underestimated and dismissed. She wants to stand by Billy, to believe that he can win without losing himself. On the other hand, she's sensing the warning signs. There's a guarded look in his eyes when she presses him for details. A defensiveness that wasn't there before. And perhaps most telling of all, Billy has stopped confiding in her fully. Secrets are poison in any relationship. Sally knows that better than anyone. The more Billy shuts her out, the more her imagination fills in the worst-case scenarios. The shadow of Adam Newman. Adam Newman has his own complicated history with both Victor and Billy. If Billy is truly assembling a power play, could Adam be involved? The mere possibility is enough to rattle Sally. Adam's reputation for manipulation and chaos precedes him. If Billy aligns himself with someone like Adam, even temporarily, it could signal just how far he's willing to go. And alliances forged in revenge rarely end cleanly. A risky power move. Rumors swirl that Billy is planning a bold corporate maneuver, one that could shake the foundations of Newman Enterprises. But such a move requires precision. One miscalculation could cost him everything. Victor won't hesitate to retaliate. And when Victor retaliates, he doesn't just attack professionally, he makes it personal. Sally may become a target. The realization dawns slowly but unmistakably. By loving Billy, she may have placed herself squarely in the crosshairs of a war she never signed up for. The confrontation looms. Spoilers tease an explosive confrontation between Billy and Sally in the coming days. Sally finally demands the truth. No more vague promises. No more half answers. She needs to know, is Billy fighting for their future, or is he chasing vengeance at any cost? Billy's response could define everything. Will he choose transparency and partnership? Or will pride push him to double down, insisting he can handle it alone? If he underestimates Sally's instincts, he risks losing the one person who truly believes in him. The cost of revenge. Revenge has a seductive allure. It promises justice, power, closure. But in Genoa City, it rarely delivers anything but heartbreak. Billy may believe he's stronger this time, that he's learned from past mistakes. But revenge has a way of blinding even the most self-aware individuals. And Sally's growing fear isn't just about business battles. It's about watching someone she cares for slowly lose themselves. A turning point ahead. As tensions rise, Billy stands at a crossroads. He can continue down the dark road, risking his relationship, his stability, and possibly his sanity. Or he can step back and choose a different path, one defined by growth instead of retaliation. Sally's faith in him hangs by a thread. If he pushes too far, she may walk away. Not because she doesn't love him, but because she refuses to be collateral damage in a war fueled by ego. What's next for Genoa City? The coming weeks promise high-stakes drama, emotional reckonings, and potential heartbreak. Will Billy outmaneuver Victor at his own game? Or will he once again underestimate the titan he's trying to dethrone? More importantly, can Sally save Billy from himself? Or will she be forced to save herself instead? One thing is certain. On The Young and the Restless, revenge always comes with a price. Genoa City morning. The tension inside Jabot felt thicker than the winter air outside. The phones were ringing, assistants were whispering, and the latest business headline had already made its way into every corner office. Victor Newman had been outmaneuvered. And the man responsible? Billy Abbott. For once, it wasn't reckless. It wasn't impulsive. It wasn't a gamble fueled by ego or vengeance. It was calculated, strategic, devastating. And that was exactly why Billy was standing outside his brother's office, jaw tight, hands curled into fists. Because instead of celebrating, Jack Abbott had summoned him. The victory that changed everything. The deal had unfolded quietly over weeks. Billy, working behind the scenes, had intercepted a key tech acquisition Victor had been circling for Newman Enterprises. Through discreet partnerships and a last-minute restructuring clause, Billy managed to secure the company for Jabot instead. Victor never saw it coming. When the press release dropped, Genoa City gasped. Victor Newman, the man who prided himself on control, had been beaten at his own game. And Billy Abbott had done it without self-destructing. For Billy, it was validation. Years of being dismissed as reckless. Years of Jack treating him like a liability instead of an equal. But instead of praise, he got a phone call. Come to my office. Now. Classic Jack. Brother versus brother. Billy didn't knock. Jack looked up from behind his desk, composed but visibly simmering. You embarrassed him, Jack said coolly. Billy blinked. I won. Jack stood slowly. You provoked him. Billy let out a disbelieving laugh. We're in business, Jack. That's how this works. Jack stepped closer. Not with Victor. There it was again. That fear. That caution. That eternal shadow Victor cast over the Abbott family. Billy's voice sharpened. Why is it every time I beat Victor, you act like I committed a crime? Because you never think about the fallout. Jack shot back. Billy's eyes flashed. No. You don't like that I did what you couldn't. The words hung in the air like a bomb. Jack's jaw tightened. Watch yourself. Old wounds reopened. This wasn't just about business. It never was. Billy had spent his entire life living under Jack's expectations. Or disappointments. When Billy spiraled, Jack called him irresponsible. When Billy tried to lead, Jack called him reckless. And now, when Billy executed a flawless corporate maneuver, Jack called it dangerous. You don't trust me, Billy said quietly, but the hurt underneath was loud. Jack hesitated, just long enough. I don't trust your motives. That did it. Billy stepped closer. My motives? I did this for Jabot. For us. Jack shook his head. You did this because you needed to prove something. Billy's voice dropped to a dangerous calm. Maybe I did. The Victor factor. Jack turned away, staring out at the city skyline. You think Victor will let this go? He asked. Billy smirked. He shouldn't have underestimated me. You poked a bear, Jack replied. And when that bear strikes back, it won't just be you. That's what Jack didn't understand. Billy wasn't afraid anymore. For years, Victor had dismissed him as unstable, unpredictable, weak. But Billy had studied him, watched him, learned from him. I'm not the same guy who crashed Jabot's stock price, Billy said evenly. I'm not the guy who spiraled over a bad bet. I saw this move months ago. Jack turned slowly. And you didn't loop me in? Billy's expression hardened. Would you have trusted me? Silence. That was the real answer. A power shift. For the first time in years, Billy wasn't asking for validation. He was demanding respect. I don't need you to babysit me, Billy said. I don't need you to protect me from Victor. Jack's eyes narrowed. This isn't about protecting you. It's about protecting the company. Then stop acting like I'm the threat. The truth was unavoidable. Billy's win had shifted something. Jabot's board was impressed. Investors were thrilled. Even longtime doubters were whispering that maybe Billy Abbott had finally matured. And Jack? He looked unsettled. Because if Billy wasn't the family screw-up anymore, where did that leave Jack? The jealousy no one expected. You're enjoying this, Jack said suddenly. Billy tilted his head. Enjoying what? Outshining me. Billy stared at his brother in disbelief. You think this is about you? Jack didn't answer. For decades, Jack had been the Abbott golden son. The heir. The steady hand. The one who could stand toe-to-toe with Victor Newman. But now, Billy had done what Jack had failed to do repeatedly, surprised Victor. Beat him clean, without collateral damage. And the press wasn't calling it luck. They were calling it genius. Billy's voice softened, but only slightly. I don't want your crown, Jack. I just want a seat at the table. Jack finally exhaled. You have one. No, Billy corrected. I have a folding chair. The real fear. Jack moved behind his desk again, the weight of leadership visible in his posture. You've changed, Jack admitted quietly. Billy's expression flickered. Yeah, I have. And that scares me. Billy frowned. Why? Because I don't know this version of you. There it was. Not anger. Not jealousy. Fear of losing control. Jack had always known how to manage Billy when he was chaotic. He knew how to scold him, rescue him, blame him. But this Billy? Strategic. Patient. Focused. That Billy was unpredictable in an entirely different way. You don't get to freeze me in my worst moments, Billy said. I've worked too hard to stay there. The threat lurking ahead. Their confrontation was interrupted by a knock. An assistant entered nervously. Mr. Abbott, there's a statement from Newman Enterprises. Of course there was. Billy smirked. Already? Jack opened the email. His face went pale. What? Billy demanded. Jack handed him the tablet. Victor's statement was brief, icy, and surgical. Sometimes children win around, but men win the war. Billy's pulse quickened, not with fear. With anticipation. Jack looked at him sharply. This is what I'm talking about. Billy set the tablet down calmly. Good. Jack blinked. Good. Let him come. Lines in the sand. The brothers stood in silence. Outside the office, Jabot buzzed with excitement. Inside, the battle lines were shifting. This isn't a game, Jack said firmly. Billy met his gaze without flinching. It never was. Jack searched his brother's face, maybe for recklessness, maybe for cracks. But there were none. Only resolve. You really think you can outplay Victor Newman long-term? Jack asked. Billy's answer was steady. I don't need to outplay him forever. I just need to stop fearing him. That hit harder than anything else. Because Jack had built his career around battling Victor. And fear, whether he admitted it or not, had always been part of it. The final blow. Billy turned toward the door. One more thing, he said. Jack looked up. The board wants to discuss expanding my authority. Jack stiffened. What? Billy didn't smile. They like results. And with that he walked out, leaving Jack alone with a truth he didn't want to face. Billy Abbott wasn't the liability anymore. He was the future. What happens next? Victor won't sit quietly. Jack won't surrender control. And Billy? He's done playing the underdog. Genoa City is bracing for an Abbott power shift. One that could redefine Jabot, shatter family loyalties, and ignite a corporate war unlike anything we've seen before. Because this time Billy isn't acting out. He's leveling up.